Decorating Pages is a podcast dedicated to taking you behind the scenes of the designs of your favorite TV shows and films. Each episode, I'll be sharing design stories from some of Hollywood's most famous sets. Interviews from set decorators, production designers, directors, and actors about creating the look of TV and film, about their design inspirations, and stories that take sets from page to screen. We did get a little ahead of ourselves. Can I jump back and ask where are you from and how did you get your start?
Well, I played college football in college. And so I worked for Lone Star Gas Pipeline Division in the summer. So the guys were like his local hero in town and outside of Dallas, Texas, in a little town called Irving, where the Cowboy Stadium used to be. And so they would love working me hard over the summers on the pipeline, doing all the hard work. And then my mom had met a guy that had never been married that was like a part-time stagehand in Dallas, and he worked for Dallas Power and Light. And it's like, hey, you want to come work the fair show or like the summer musicals? And I go, I can't afford to drive to Dallas. If it's Irving, it's 15 miles. I got to pay for the gas, and I have to do all. So then he did the fair show one year, and he goes, I made like $400 for the week just running the spotlight in the evenings. I go, oh, really? Well, I might be available to do some of that part-time. So I started working as a Dallas stagehand. I got in the union there. I started in summer musicals. And then you put in the show on Monday, Tuesday. Then you work Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday nights, 2 shows Saturday, 1 show Sunday. Then you're off. And then you work Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night. I said, well, I got to do something during the day. So then I got to start building scenery for Dallas Stage Scenery. So we would build the operas and we would build the stuff in all these road shows that went out. And so I learned to do that. And then a couple shows would come in, and I did craft service on the show, and I go, no, I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I worked as an electrician, and I had to carry that 4-aught cable on my shoulder, and I go, that's really not very good.
Is this like the Three Little Bears scenario? Like this chair was too big, this bed was too small.
No, I think I could do set dressing, because I don't have to be on the set all the time.
Right. So, yeah, that is a plus.
And then moved to lead man, and then had some really great luck along the way. And then I got in with Chuck Norris and did decorated Silent Rage, and I remember one time it was like he was going on about, I'm going to do this and I'm going to kick my leg up over the guy's head. And I just went, he goes, excuse me?
Oh my God.
And he walked over, and I'm like almost 6'3", and he stood there, and that leg boot went right over the top of my head.
Oh my!
And he said, now, do you see what I'm talking about? So when I say I'm going to do something, you should pay attention. And that was one of the first lessons I ever learned around a set, is not to joke, to really pay attention. Because people, when they say these things, they really mean it.
Well, was he talking there's a difference though. Was he talking like a director or was he talking like an actor? It's just a big difference.
He was talking like a stuntman actor.
Like a stuntman. Oh, okay. Yeah. Well, then, yeah, you pay attention.
Yeah. So then, I became head of the union there because I had a college degree, management economics, and just to show them that they need to run it more like a business rather than the old school way. So I helped get training programs. And I guess the management economics degree in college basically made me think of more like this is a business that we have budgets to adhere to. And, there's probably some shows that I might never get because I don't go, hell, I have to go 20% over budget to prove I did a job.
Yeah, no.
So I was very lucky early in my career. I did like 8 shows with Michael Hausman. I did House of Games, Things Change, Dominic and Eugene, Nadine, No Mercy. And this guy was the producer and first AD. So it's like, listen, do not spend a penny unless it's on the screen. So then that's another big lesson that I learned, that it really doesn't do any good if it's sitting in the truck or back at the warehouse. If it's not on the screen, you wasted money.
That is a good lesson, and it's true.
So those things have stuck with me through the year, that if you plan out every single detail, and I've always said, listen, I'm going to make this list and I'm going to do this list. And not that I don't want you to have input as a set decorator or as a lead man or as someone else. But if we get my list done, we kind of got a show. And if we get the bonus stuff and the layered in stuff, that's the important stuff. And the aging, I think that having worked with Oliver Stone, he might be probably the most difficult, assuming person that I've ever worked for. He's a genius in the filmmaking. His personality could make it feel like you're not worth anything.
Right.
But his attention to detail and the layered look is another thing that I learned from him. That, like, I remember I was doing a film that I came in with. Ron Reese was a set decorator, and he's done stuff. And we did Vince Lombardi's wall, which was Al Pacino's house, with all the signed pictures on the wall. Right. And there was like 30, 8 or 10 frames. Oliver walked in the house and glanced over, and the one photo that he looked at didn't have a signature.
Of course.
Didn't go well. Okay.
Oh my God.
So you never know what the director will see or won't see. Right. And that is an important thing for all decorators, that the layered and the character development of that what we do is very important. Like JR and I made a list to this director on this show. The writer. We did a page thing. We need character development on all the people in the village. How long the village, how many people are in the village, how many Indians, how many of this stuff, how many Vikings, how many Puritans. Is it a religious thing? So we try to, because each person in each location has some kind of character and history with it. Like the guy came over as a fisherman. Is he still a fisherman?
Right. I find that's hard these days, not these days, but or maybe projects that I've worked on, like you're trying to figure out, okay, what am I, who is this person, everything. And I don't feel in the majority of the projects that I've worked on that the backstory is given to me by a writer. And I feel like, well, then it's my choice. Then I have to do that, and that's fine. But then if I can't read people's minds either. If you get it wrong and then someone calls you out on it, you're like, shit, I didn't know.
One of the things that my deal on House and then on Ozark, I had a direct line to the showrunner. And if I didn't understand the script, then he could explain it to me. And then he could say, well, if you can't do that, what can you do? And I said, well, we can do this. And he would write to it.
Right to it, yeah.
And then the relationship through the years and the people that know me, it's a lot of my shows. It's like sometimes my agents get upset that because a Sean Penn or a Kevin Costner or an Antoine Fuqua, these people are not going to call, or Oliver's not going to call my agent to reach me. They'll call me direct. And then it's good and it's bad, because then you can't have that buffer to say, well, I'm already doing something, because then you've offended them.
Right.
So, but my stuff is a lot of, and I've run across shows that I don't get because they go, what film school did you go to? Or do you have a reel of all your work? And I want to say,
You've
Have you seen any? Do you go
have you
to?
seen anything? Because I've done it. Have you seen anything? Yeah, I've been a part of that. If you liked it, I did it.
Well, there was a couple this year. I had several
If this
meetings that
this
I took, and
past
people
year,
said, they said, I have to be honest with you. I see, I've met very few people that have the complexity and cover the resume that you have, because you do big things, small things, fast things, low budget things,
right,
and I'm able to adjust to the budgets. People are afraid of that. Oh, this guy can never
right,
do this. We can't hire him to do this show because he just finished $100 million Western.
right. Or that, and and it goes the opposite way. It assumes a lot of people don't think, oh, you do TV, you can't do film. Or you do
Well,
film, you're not going to get TV. That's a
and
lot
then
of
you want to say, and that's when you want to go into a situation where you say, how could you possibly hire that actor because he's never done a show
right,
like this?
right,
Because he's an actor. So in our sense,
right,
we're as a term that's been thrown around, like when I did the pilot, The Passage, they had a designer that they wanted to work with, and the producer said this, and the director producer said, you know what, I'm sorry, we're going with Derek. Derek
right.
is a world builder, and this show needs a world built
Yeah.
and understands from the beginning to the end and development of characters and locations.
Well, you do go back and forth with big projects, little projects. What do you prefer? I know
You
it's a
know,
silly question,
no,
but
no, no,
sometimes you like a passion project.
I do, but I find that I know it's some people can't believe it, but movies are easier than television these days because
Absolutely.
television wants the same quality of a movie. All these
Yeah.
Netflix and all this Amazon and all these people, they want movie quality. And it's like we're working on this project now, and it's like if it were Netflix, it wouldn't be a problem. But
Yeah.
it's like this is a
Yeah.
big project, and for a movie, you define the 80 locations for 6-8 months or longer.
Right. Right.
We have 35 for 1 hour,
Yeah.
and you
Yeah, I
say
know.
the numbers don't match
No.
the numbers and the days. So here's the way we're going to do it. I need a script. I need to do the page count. And so if it's like if it's over 3 pages, that's my anchor for the day. And now I'm going to find what has to work with that we can afford, where we're not making a move, and we're going to make that look work for our day of shooting.
Yeah.
And that's the thing of the challenge. Where when I did All Eyes on Me, and people, like even the daughter went, really? Tupac, you're going to do Tupac. I didn't know you had it in you.
I know. Listen, I heard that you were on. I was like, wow, that's a great project, man. That's gonna be fun.
Well, and it was, and and I had, the several times people said, do you get it? Because I'm going to promise you, I'm not the guy that messed up a black movie.
Right.
I won't be that guy.
Right.
So I'm going to have to work doubly hard
to get it.
To get it.
To get it.
And I'm
Yeah.
going to have to understand it. And I'm going to have to listen to it. And I'm going to have to understand the rap songs and what the rap songs meant. And I did. And it was a Morgan Creek project. And then they awarded me like a co-producer credit at the end because of
your input.
You
got it. Because you got it.
He goes, but you earned it.
Yeah. Wow. I am actually surprised you don't get that title more often. Just because
it's come up with several directors, and sometimes the directors have so many things they're trying to get that I'm not their priority. Say Derek's going all the way with me in this sense, and I'm already on another show, working for another person or whatever.
Right. You are usually working. You've already said your goodbyes, and then you've already said your hellos, like, and they overlap a lot of times.
We haven't started this pilot shooting yet, and then it's like I'm starting to get the calls. When are you done?
When are you done? When are you available? You're hot.
It's like I just go, well, let me look at the project first.
Yeah. Where is it?
Yeah.
Who can I bring?
Yeah.
Not what is it?
No. Well, no, I think if it's something I haven't done, that's the important thing, because I don't want to go out saying that I didn't do that or I couldn't do that.
Right.
I mean, I thought when I did the Magnificent Seven and we built all those towns and all those locations, we only shot 13 days in New Mexico, and we built several things that were there. I thought I'd reached the pinnacle, because I really did a Western that everybody wants to do a Western. And then I just did a Western episode for SMILF that airs tonight. And I said to Frankie, really, we're doing a Western.
Well, you're the guy. You're the guy now.
And then it was like, but how's this relating to your story?
Right.
Well, I'll tell you. And so then we did, and then I read it, and then I said, well, this is what I see. And then the producer goes, Derek, you shouldn't have showed her all that stuff. I said, well, I read the script. Listen, I can tell you this. We're not going to do she's riding across and she hears a scream and holler, and we're going to ride to the railroad, and then we're going to untie the guy, and we're going to save the guy before the train kills. We're not doing that. That's a promise. She goes, well, why? I said, can't afford it. Sarah Jones, and no train people will let you near their track anymore.
Oh,
so
wow.
I think we should do the Clint Eastwood. How about you're riding across and you look over there and you see the guy hanging from a noose on the back of a horse, and you ride as fast as you can, but you're not going to get there, and you pull the rifle out and you shoot a long rifle shot to knock the noose out, and you save the guy's life. Same deal.
Green screen.
Deal.
No.
No. So we did that.
Wow.
But then
you brought up a good point about Sarah Jones, though. I didn't think about that, but that is a really good point, because
having worked in Georgia,
fresh.
It comes fresh in my mind, and there's been multiple shows. When I did Magnificent Seven, it was like, we need a train. Well, I'm not building a track, okay?
Right.
We're not going to do like the Lone, whatever the Gore Revenge, the Lone Ranger or whatever.
Lone Ranger, yeah.
Yeah, Johnny Depp and them.
And then you wind up painting train tracks in the background, because you can't.
$1.5 million later, you know.
Yeah. We use that train on Good Place. That one of the cabooses or whatever. We have that train that they had gutted it, and then we redid it because it was great. But we paint on train tracks on Good Place, so to get that long look. But,
right.
If you could have designed any show or movie, classic or modern day, what would you choose?
Well, I've done 4 films with Sean Penn, and Sean Penn's a different character that a lot of people know. I know him as mainly a director, and then he and I have been really good friends through the years. And when he asked me to do the movie Into the Wild, where I get Christopher McCandless' life, I've got the photos, and then Sean said, just go out on the journey. And I was doing House at the same time. So go out on the journey and find these places, and then we're going to shoot. And it was like, and the challenge was, we're going to have, it's just like March. And they go, hey, AD, we're going to have Vince Vaughn like July 5th through the 10th. Okay. So, and he's doing the wheat scene where they're processing the wheat, and Christopher McCandless goes and works for him. So you need to go find where the wheat's going to be ripe during that time. So then I had to go and meet with the farmers in Texas and understand about the growing of wheat. And when the wheat starts ripening at a certain time in Texas, then the wheat ripens at 10 to 15 miles a day. So then you start drawing the arcs and you figure out where July 5th is going to be. And it was in Carthage, South Dakota during that time. And then the producers go, we're not going to Carthage, South Dakota. There's no infrastructure there. And then, then I was like stuck there, and they said, you need to go down to Kansas or you need to go to Nebraska and do it. And it was like, well, let me check. So call Sean up. Look, I found where I think is going to be the place, and I found the wild Mustangs. And
did my homework. Yeah.
And he goes, did you find what I told you? I go, yeah, but they told me that I need to continue scouting. He goes, go to the airport, buy your ticket. I'll reimburse you. You did what I told you. I'm sure, having worked with you, I know you did your homework, and sure enough, it worked good. I think that doing a show, what show is going to make a difference? What show is going to make a more impact on something? I'm not so much into the Black Panther and stuff, where this all of visual effects stuff.
Yeah.
I like hands-on with the stuff, and I like to create stuff that is meaningful in certain things. And then, like, who can you bring along and who can you bring up with you, in the sense of develop, because people would say, I can't believe you're sharing all this information. What are you going to do when this person takes your job? And I said, well, if that person is better than me, then you should hire them. Okay. Because I truly believe that that's a way that people should evolve, and I'll reach a point one day that maybe it's no longer fun. Hollywood is different than it used to be, but working with Frankie and working with Jason Bateman on Ozark, Jason Bateman like you've never seen him, and we developed a great relationship. Yeah. It's like he would just say, hey, Mr. Ozark, what would you do?
Well, you do form relationships because people see your passion, and then you have trust with them. And that's thing, when you're on a film set and TV and you can trust someone, and if I don't care if it's one of my swing guys or I can trust, when you can trust someone and you're down and dirty and someone's going to give you a straight answer, that's who you're going to go to. And they're going to tell you yes or no, and you might not want to hear it, but that's when you can trust people like that.
That's the films that working with Oliver. I'm not a yes man. Right. This is what I believe. And this is, I'm going to tell you my thought and process about it. And you don't have to like it. I worked for a designer many years ago that had an Academy Award. And then she'd say, well, what do you think? And then it'd be like, well, I think it's like this one. Okay, we're going to go with that one. So then you find yourself like going, then you just told the wrong answer just so they picked the right answer. Because, there's certain things that, like, even working with Antoine, it'd be like, I'd send him photos of camera angles and videos of certain stuff. And then he would like, hey, where's my video? I'm on my way in. I want to see it. And then he goes, what's those trucks doing there? I go, well, that's kind of where they parked them. And he goes, well, go tell them to move it. That's my shot. Oh, yeah. So I go, hey, listen, you need to move the trucks. Well, you know what? We'll just wait till Antoine gets there. I said, no problem.
Yeah, so, yeah, it's fine. The truck parking, you know how many times I've been on a set and they'd be like, the director gets there, we talked about this, I'm shooting that way, why are the trucks there? It happens all the time.
Or a location manager that picks the location because it's an easy place for production to park the trucks. Probably not choosing that one.
Right. Remember that guy's name. Yeah. Well, I'll say this. I hope you have a fantastic time in New Zealand. I hope that you remember my name when I get back to work someday. Who? I'm not even changing my name at this point. I'm too petrified. People won't be. They'll be like, who?
Because I'm still Kim Wanham.
Yeah, where'd Wanna go? Never mind, that's not her. But going back and looking at your resume and then looking at some of the films over the past week, I mean, my God, you're a workhorse, and you did fantastic work and beautiful things and memorable sets. You have very memorable sets, I must say. So I'm overlated that you are spending time with me and letting me interview you because you're my friend, I must say.
Yes, no,
So it's
we've been friends from the day that we met,
yeah,
and we always kid, and you always send me the thing when you're hiring me.
yeah,
You
always,
know,
always. When you hire me, always.
but you don't take it seriously because you know that it's not a matter of because you see I work with a number of decorators. It's a
Oh
lot of
yeah,
time it's a situation, and as you've got these incentive states, you've got a lot of
yeah,
these people going, oh, you're hiring locals. And I said,
yeah,
as long as the person can do the job and listen and do the stuff, then that's great. But
yeah.
this job is too hard not to have people that you really like to work with.
Yeah. And that's one of the key things, and that's one of the things why I'm lucky enough that I have the same guys on my crew day in and job out, because I want to work with fun people, and that's my crew, and that's who I want to spend time with.
They become
Yeah,
your family, and you
absolutely.
spend more time with them than your real family.
I do. I mean, you invite them to your wedding, and then you're like, and people are like, who are they? Like, I spend more time with them in the
Yeah.
last 10 years than I have with my parents or I've long
Well,
gone longer than my husband. So yeah, they're coming to the wedding.
and and I run across situations where people go, you can tell that they've never, they don't know me because they go, oh, you you don't know Derek,
Yeah.
or Derek doesn't. You don't have to worry what he's thinking because he'll tell you,
Yeah.
and it's not in a bad way.
No,
It's just
no.
you go into it and they've been entrusted to do this job, and I'm not always right, but you're never going to know unless you put yourself out there.
Yeah.
And it's
Yeah.
like even working with an Oliver Stone, you go, well, this is where I think we would do it.
Yeah.
And he could take it, leave it, and go, yeah. Or you'll run across directors that go, I'm not, and the next day they go, I think we're going to do the camera over here. I go, okay, and
Yeah.
it's almost like you talked about.
Yeah. Yes. Yes. That was a good idea when I thought of it yesterday.
Yeah, but you when those kind of people, you have to really like come up with a suggestion that it's their idea, and it'll work
Yes.
so much better.
Lead the horse to water.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Thank you so much. I really enjoyed this, and I didn't know how you started or anything like that. So it was fascinating
Now,
to
now
get to
you
know
know
you better.
really come a long way.
Yeah, yes, you have.
That journey
I, yes.
was like I, I loaded those trucks, packed that furniture, and I stood on the set as an on-set dresser. So, it's like then you just know what you expect to be, and then it's like the JR that works with me goes, listen, he'll explain how he works
Yeah.
and what he expects of you. It's not like you're not gonna know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I
You
think that everybody on my crew, I try to reach so that everybody has as much knowledge as me. And the director, in my absence, anybody can say this is what Derek thought and how he wanted to do it, so that there's no one like going and goes, I don't know. This is like he told me to put it over here, and I'm not sure why.
right. Right. Because
Yeah.
we run into that a lot.
Oh yeah.
You pass it around. You pass it around till someone stops looking at you for an answer. That
Yeah.
happens a lot too. And you're
And
like, I don't know.
that's what a lot of people that have to understand, that as long as you're sharing the information with the director and you're getting all the time that you need with them, then you do that. And as you're working with say a bigger actor, then you engage that actor. Even I did it with Tom Cruise one time on Born on 4th of July. What did you see in your room as a boy growing up?
Does
So
that ever backfire on you though? Because I used to think as a decorator, I wish I had more interaction with actors, because something like that. Like, what do you think your character needs?
knowing that was Oliver, And Oliver would say, hey, listen, I'd like to talk to Tom and get to, and sure, go ahead. Now you might have some designers that they want to feel that was their input. I remember I was shooting Tom in a wrestling scene, like to have photos on the wall, and my camera battery was dead. And he's in a headlock on the ground. He goes, hey, Derek, next time you decide to shoot me in some photos, make sure the camera battery's fresh. Okay. So those little things like that are, those are, lessons learned. When I did The Postman with Kevin Costner, he told me exactly how he was going to shoot the bridge. We're going to build a bridge. I'm going to go off the bridge. We're going to go down, and I'm going to be out of rifle range after another quarter of a mile in the deal, and took all the pictures and everything. Got to Warner Brothers, went back there, and he said, "What'd that look like back that way?" And I go, "Well, you told me that we were going to shoot this way." He goes, "Jet fuel's more expensive than film." So she put plenty of. Yeah.
You should have just reversed the shot, mirror image the thing. Oh, here it is.
No, it might have been a thing that he was testing me too, and I just said, you know what, I made a mistake, but it won't ever happen again. Now with the advent of
you owned it.
I shoot plenty.
Thank God for digital.
Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you. All right.
You. I hope you enjoyed these 2 episodes of Derek. He's a really interesting guy. He really commands the room, and he's funny and so talented. I'm really lucky to have worked with him in the past, and I hope to in the future. In upcoming episodes, I have interviews with director Beth McCarthy-Miller, prop master Gabe Perillo, on-set dresser Jordan Steinberg, and a couple more surprises. I'll just keep that up my hat. If you want to keep up to date with our podcast schedule, visit decoratingpagespodcast.com and subscribe to our newsletter. I'm going to start blogging a little about what I'm watching and the decor that just pops up every week. That's beautiful. There's some beautiful sets out there that should be recognized. Thank you for joining me. I hope you got an earful. I'm Kim Wanup for Decorating Pages. Decorating Pages is sponsored by Stogie Floaty, a luxury pool float. Float 'em if you got 'em. Visit stogiefloaty.com.
Welcome to Pro Tips for the Pros, brought to you by Floor & Decor Bailey's Crossroads. In this series, we'll explore essential advice for professional contractors to deliver outstanding renovation results. Let's dive in. Before starting any renovation project, take the time to plan meticulously. Assess the customer's needs, budget, and timeline to ensure a smooth and successful renovation process. Thank you for joining us for this pro tip on planning thorough renovations. Stay tuned for more expert advice brought to you by Floor & Decor Bailey's Crossroads.
A lot of people tolerate ordinary. Ordinary bathrooms, kitchens, entryways. Well, not on your watch. If you're a pro, you've got a new partner in town. Floor & Decor. From tile to wood to stone, Floor & Decor has more styles and job lot quantities of Schluter, Mapei, Laticrete, and other brands pros trust. Come see a whole new way to wow with Floor & Decor. Coming soon to Bailey's Crossroads.